Well, hi everyone. This is Ethan with Beware Beekeeping. Today, what we're doing is we're going to check our experimental hive. They have some signs that they might be potentially swarming. Really, what we've got to figure out here is if they have swarm cells, or if they're just kind of overcrowded or too hot and are just going out the front and kind of bearding. I'll roll in some footage here what I saw, but they were kind of up the side or the front of it, a couple of boxes up. So to me, that said more swarming than bearding. But we're going to get in there and check it out. So that's what we're doing today. So if they are potentially swarming, we will do a split. If not, what we may end up doing is just putting frames in this medium box. Right now we're restricting them from getting up in there because that's where we were housing our feed. And then when last we were looking at them, I kind of thought that they were more too hot. So I just left it empty and we have a screen top cover on there to hopefully give them a little bit more opportunity to kind of let it breathe. But we'll see how we're doing today.
They are unhappy.
Yeah, and that might also be because potentially swarming. So we'll see. We'll see how they're doing. We'll make this very quick inspection. So we're going to try. We're going to do a lightning round here, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right.
Wind's blowing our smoke away too.
Yeah. All right, so this is, again, this box has been on here about 3 weeks now, 2-3 weeks. Outer frame, not a whole lot to it. I also don't want to move like super quick because that will disturb the bees, but. All right, so this is one frame from the outer, also not really drawn out. That yellow you are seeing is wax I put on it, so nothing much there on the bottom or anything like that. Same with this. So this is three in. So they move from inside out. So this is 3 out. So again, if they're swarming because of overcrowding, I don't know if it's just because they don't have drawn out comb yet. Maybe that's what's going on. They did have a pretty large population burst. So it could be they just don't have enough room for people right now. Sorry if you're hearing puppy in the background. Our neighbor here is just got a litter of puppies, so apologize if you're hearing that in the microphone.
Sorry.
It's all right. All right. On this one, we do have some kind of strenuous comb here on the side, which I'll kind of try to get rid of here real quick because apparently I didn't tighten this up all that well the last time. Yeah, so got a lot of drawn out nectar on this frame. You can get that. I'm not going to tilt it the other way because I don't want all this to fall out. But yeah, a lot of nectar in there. And they're starting to cap some of it over here in the corners. So that's a good sign. That's good. So this is when I said before you wanted to know the difference between capped honey. Honey will be kind of messy like that right there, this section right here that I'm circling with my tool. If it's comb or if it's a capped over brood, it'll be very hexagonal and uniform pattern. The capped over honey looks kind of messy. And this is what we got on the other end. So this frame, they're still drawing it out. This is a 3D printed frame. They're still drawing it out, but they are packing almost every cell with pollen or nectar. To me, that does say that it could potentially be a swarm condition if they're just trying to pack food, as much food as possible before swarming. I haven't seen any swarm cells though, so we'll see. We'll typically see swarm cells in the brood area itself. So that one was more of a feed area than brood. So we'll see where we get here. I feel some comb on the bottom here as I'm pulling this thing out. So. Sorry, trying to get a good grip here. They're all over it. All right. Ooh, this one is heavy. All right. So I see a lot of larvae, capped over brood. Just gotta be careful. Sorry, I'm gonna be looking up here because I gotta see if these are swarm cells or just drone comb. So this looks like drone comb on the bottom here. I do see some open larvae. Not really seeing much. There's a lot of packed honey here in the side. Can feel the weight on this. Can feel the weight of it on this in this frame here. All right. Seeing a whole lot.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, just a lot of nectar and pollen, and then a little bit of open brood and some capped over brood. So once it's capped over brood, they'll probably convert this to an entire, probably to an entire nectar or feed frame, if you will. Alrighty, there we go. All right, so we're at the middle of the brood box, the top brood box here. And what do we got? This is a 3D printed frame. They're starting to really draw this one out here. I think we're technically on the other side of the drawn out of the center of the brood. So this one they're packing completely full of nectar and honey. I say some honey because some of it's being capped over, so it's at the right consistency that they like for nectar being dried out to honey, which is good to see. And again, with a 3D printed frame like this, it's good to see that they're really connecting it. I was kind of worried it might be a little wonky in terms of like them not connecting at all. It looks like they really are. There are some spots here that aren't completely uniform, but we'll see if they continue to draw that out. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of good nectar and honey being capped over here. So we're seeing some good production here. I'm not seeing any cells here on the bottom. Just a little bit of drone comb. Nothing too major there. The problem I am running into is that middle frame had a lot of space for the honey. I might not be able to slide this frame back together. At least I couldn't just slide it down to prevent from crushing bees. All right. And this is, again, we're going towards back the outside. You can see them starting to draw this one out. Just a little bit of broken drone comb, it looks like. They're trying to also, an interesting fact is they're trying to connect these portions. You can see a little bit of wax right here. Try to connect those portions to the other frames there. Not exactly something I've seen. Maybe I didn't give them, maybe I gave them too much space, I guess, between the bottom of the frames there. Or maybe they're just close enough to do something. Alrighty. There we go. Alright. I'm just going to pull these other frames real quick. Nothing. So they're still working this this top box here. The other hive, if I remember serves correctly, they were doing a lot more progress on this top box. So that's okay. These guys are still drawing it out. And actually what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to swap that one and put that one a little bit towards the inside to see if they draw it out any faster. We're still trying to determine if this hive with these 3D printed frames, if they're liking the frames or if they don't like them, and that's why they're drawing them out slower. So I'll put a commercial foundation in there a little bit closer in the brood area. We'll see if they start drawing that out faster than they've been drawing out the 3D printed stuff. I will say I didn't particularly wax those frames super well, so it looks like the bees have waxed the parts that had wax and they haven't really drawn out the rest. But then on this green frame that I'm holding right or pushing right now, they've actually seemed like they were drawing it out pretty well. So we'll just kind of wait and see how they do. All right, so I'm pretty satisfied with this one. Again, if they're given a lot of indication like they might be swarming, or it's just been so hot, maybe they're just bearding. But they were up. I'll probably see if I still have the video. They were up to the top of this second box, which to me said more swarming. But maybe they were just really hot and angry after. It was after an inspection, so maybe I just pissed them off a little bit too much.
There seem like a lot are flying around right now and very upset with us. So.
Well, so there was a lot flying earlier today, and I'm kind of wondering if that was just orientation flights. A lot of them were, they were pointed towards the hive, which I don't remember if this is me misremembering. I thought if they were pointed towards the hive or kind of flying in a circle around it, that was more of a we are doing an orientation as opposed to we're getting ready to swarm. And they have been, you know, population wise, just going nuts. So, so we shall see. Ooh. I just accidentally killed that bee. Didn't mean to. All right, so this is an outside frame. Not a whole lot going on there. I did put a queen excluder on the bottom here, so we will actually pull that off today. That was kind of just a quick stopgap method. It was more just to buy me a couple of days since I saw them potentially swarming. I wasn't quite sure. So we got some drawn out comb here. Not much going on. This is a 3D printed frame as well, so you can see them drawing it out nicely. Yeah, so and maybe we're seeing some of the effects of when I had to grow the box a little bit. We were going to be out of town, and I was worried about them having enough space, so I might have given them another box a little soon, but yeah, it was one of those where it's like better to do it too soon than too late. I'm not seeing any swarm cells so far, which is good. I did pull a couple off before, and again, that won't really stop the swarming. It'll just buy you a couple of days, which is kind of was the initial plan.
Get off my smoker, darling.
Yeah, that's not a place you want to be. So this one is actually, it's fairly close to the inner part of the brood chamber. This is right on the outside, and they're packing this one. They're still drawing it out, but they're packing it pretty full of honey, or of nectar, I should say. Which, again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of laying activity. I did see a little bit in the top box, but not as much as we have been seeing. So that is maybe a cause for concern. We'll see. We'll see if we see the queen here. I was doing a very quick. Again, I don't want to irritate them too much, so I was doing a very quick inspection up there. I didn't see the queen or anything. Didn't really see much evidence of her. I saw some 3, 4, 5-day-old larvae, but not anything super new.
That all just drone cones?
Yeah, and this is another thing of why this could be swarming is when you see a lot of drones. So there's a lot of drone right down here towards the center of my screen and on the bottom. Drone are particularly a sign of good hives that they're doing well, and it's also, well, a lot of drones is typically when you're going like, okay, hey, what's going on here? Because if the queen's missing, or if she's having a problem with like, if she didn't get a good mating flight, she might just lay nothing but drones after a while because she doesn't have any more sperm left to fertilize eggs. Or they're doing well and they're getting ready to swarms. They'll make a ton of drones, and we're seeing this frame has a good portion of drone on it. I'm trying to see down in those cells, and we are doing it a little bit after late in the day, so I don't have the greatest light in the world, and that is some dark comb, but I'm not seeing much in there. I see some nectar. Actually, hon, there's that white light there in that mic box. That's all right. We'll let them be. I am not seeing a queen, but I'm also not seeing queen cells to say that and they're not really like meandering. There's still a lot of activity going on. If they don't have a queen and they don't have her pheromones, sometimes they'll just kind of meander and not be doing work. And we're seeing them. They're in cells. They're getting stuff to eat and that sort of thing. So can I get them right here? There you go. Yeah.
You have a bee just hanging out on your head.
Oh, well, as long as they're not upset with me being there.
She's just chilling.
Yeah, I had one like chilling on my glove, just like cleaning herself, probably from smoke. I kind of just accidentally scraped a little bit of the bees on to the top there, but hopefully nobody got injured. So we got a lot of captive brood here. Don't really expect to see the queen, and where there is openings, they're packing it full of nectar. Again, that could be them trying to just get ready to swarm. I don't know. I'm not seeing any swarm cells here, just a little bit of drone comb off the bottom. A lot more drone comb lower on the frame too. All right. Well, this is leaving me with a little bit of a conundrum. I'm going to have to start asking more questions to people. There's one thing we can say about beekeeping, and I'm still very new. Again, this is still my first season. So there's one thing I'm quickly learning about beekeeping is that they are somewhat predictable in how they look, but then every now and then they'll throw a curveball. As with everything in life, right? Nothing is like the textbook you learn about it in, I should say. Haven't seen a queen or young, which I did see some that was less than a week old, and we haven't been in here a week, so that tells me the queen's still here. Or maybe she slipped out of our queen excluder and they've already swarmed. Um, so we got a little bit of open brood here, a little bit of nectar going in. Can't really see down into those cells too much. Yeah, it's the same as a lot of open brood, but everywhere I'm seeing that they're kind of packing it full of pollen and nectar. To me, that says that they're loading up a lot on food, which is odd to say the least. Because this is the middle of our brood box, so to me that says that they might have already swarmed. I don't know. The fact I haven't seen a queen cell, so I'm not 100% sure. Get a little smoke right there if you can get it. Try doing this actually. I'll lift this back up. We'll try scraping down sides here. They are all over this, so I'm trying to just gently kind of push them off their spot here, and trying to not squish anybody in the process. Alrighty. So still no queen. So I did put a queen excluder on the bottom. That's not a surety that she's actually in here, because what they'll do prior to swarming is the bees will feed her less to slim her down a little bit so she can fly pretty good, and that to me is so she could get thin enough to get through the queen excluder. If so, it's not a surety. It's just more of a it helps. It helps if they, if she's got to thin down a lot more. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Time?
What's that?
Does it buy time?
What do you mean?
Like it buys the.
Oh, yeah, but
just buys you time.
buys a little bit. I mean, they might get her thin enough anyway before. I don't know the timeline on that. It was just like hey, you could do this to stop it for a little bit, but it won't. It buys you a couple of days. It doesn't buy you a lot of time.
Drone.
Yeah, that's drone. So a lot of capped brood in this entire box, and anywhere that it's been like where the bees have emerged, they're just packing with pollen or nectar, I should say, a lot of nectar. So on one hand, that's good, but on the other hand, if the queen doesn't feel like she has a room to lay, that could cause her to swarm too. And I will say, they are a good bit more agitated than normal. I am going fast, so that some of that agitation might be how quick I'm going. Because we also don't have a ton of daylight here. Okay, so I'm seeing some newer stuff here. So she might be close by in this lower right part of the frame there, hun. If you can get a good, I'll try to be as still as possible. Really close in that lower right part. Yeah, get down there. There. There's some pretty new stuff. That's about 4 days old, so she might be close around here. That's good to see. I was more talking lower part of it, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're doing good. Yeah, yeah. So there's some new frames or new larvae on this frame, I should say, and they're still drawing out this side here. This is a commercial foundation on this frame, so show this camera here. So that's a little bit drawn, not quite drawn out, but on this side, particularly down in this section over here, I'll see if I can get a nice shot of that. But you'll see some kind of new larvae. They're be a little bit of a C-shaped, little tiny thing. And now that I can actually get a little bit better light, we see some eggs right down here in this section by my thumb. They look like upright, really thin, like grains of rice. They're smaller than a grain of rice, very very pin-like. So I would expect to see the queen somewhere close by, because that, looking at that, well, maybe it's about 2 day old. You could tell by the way the egg leans. It'll be pretty much upright the day of for day one, and then it'll start leaning over day two, and then on day three it'll be kind of flat, hatch open. But I'm not seeing her on this frame. I would expect to. It's the first sign we've seen of brand new eggs, and like it's the first eggs I've seen so far. So I don't know. Maybe
There's
she's
a lot going on this next frame. So.
okay. Could I get just a little bit of smoke on the top of this frame? There's a lot of bees there. She might be hiding under them. Yeah, there's a couple of them stacked, and I might not see her, but I'm seeing eggs, like a couple of day-old eggs, which she was at least here a day or two ago. So that's at least good news in terms of they haven't swarmed yet, if they were thinking about it. And I haven't seen any evidence of swarm cells here, so maybe the swarm cells we saw might have been a byproduct of the nuke. I don't remember seeing them prior when we like installed the nuke, but maybe that was them thinking they still had to swarm and hadn't quite figured out and gotten the memo to that they don't need to swarm. But they are stacked pretty well on top of each other on this frame, so I might be missing the queen. She might be on there, but I have a day or two ago, and that's pretty much good enough for me. I haven't seen swarm cells, so can I actually get a little bit of smoke all on these ridges, because I can't put that frame down. Okay, well, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff now. I don't think we'll expand this box. It didn't make as much progress as I was kind of worried that it would. So I think we're gonna be okay. We kind of don't have to do much here with that.
Pull up that next one. And we're gonna pull this box off and take away that queen excluder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was just them kind of
There's
trying.
a bunch of them right here, and I thought maybe it was the queen ones.
I wouldn't expect to, because
Yeah.
she can't really lay here, but you never know. I mean, sometimes they do weird things. One thing that I am finding interesting, so this is a 3D printed frame, and something I kind of just did for stylistic purposes, but you can actually see the bees using it, is I put these hexagon cuts in this vertical strut, and the bees actually kind of use it as a tunnel, which I'm glad they're doing, because that was kind of what was intended. So she might have been up in that top box, and I just might have missed her, huh?
Yeah, there's so many bees in here.
Yeah. Pull this one out.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're fine. Let's put this one back. So yeah, I might have gone too quick in terms of expanding a box or so, but you know, now that I'm kind of seeing it with a little bit, not quite so overwhelmed, I guess might be the proper verbiage. I might have put that box on too early, but again, they did the last inspection, and I'll roll that footage in here if I haven't already. They were halfway up that box, and maybe they just got mad at me. Maybe I had it open too long or something. But yeah, I haven't really seen the queen. Can we just get some smoke in here? I'm just going to start moving these frames back. Not terribly worried about it. Again, I feel a lot better now that I've seen eggs. That's like the one thing. That's the one thing about bees. It's like, if you don't necessarily need to see the queen if you see evidence of her. I do like to see her just to know that she's in good health, particularly when you're trying to see if she has a swarm, if she's swarmed already. because she won't be there if she swarms. You know, that'd be. But I've seen a day or so old eggs, so if they did swarm within the past day or so, which
Sorry, hon.
they might have, we really won't know for until next week because they'll cap over the current eggs in about 9 days, 7 to 9 days, and I'm just gonna need smoke just all along these just to clear them out.
I was worried I was doing too much.
Oh, you're fine. You just a couple of puffs there on the edges. That's all we need. Yeah, trying to not
Squish anybody?
Yeah. It's a very delicate process sometimes. Sometimes it requires a little bit of patience. I did see a technique about like sliding it up and then down, and it works if you don't have a ton of honey on the corners like I do, where they're kind of bulging it out of the frame. So I'll try to show that technique. But you kind of, since these have like a little curve to them, you just kind of align the struts here and just slowly go down. You won't squish anybody. You'll just move them out of the way gently, and just like that. Which it works. I've noticed it's a little more difficult on my 3D printer frames because I didn't know that technique when I made them, but maybe it's something I can take back and try to plan for in the future. But that does seem to help a little bit. It's a little bit slower going. Can you just get my gloves a couple of puffs? I had a couple of them sting there, so I saw one for sure, and I think two might have been trying. The reason I do that is when bees sting, they release a pheromone themselves. That's kind of like an attack here, a big billboard to all the other bees. So if you smoke your gloves, it'll mask that pheromone after they sting you. Same. You could do the same thing if they sting you anywhere else. So that's just why I had Mel's, because I saw a couple of them going for the same spot that bee had stung at. Didn't get through the glove, just she had stung, because they are a little upset. I don't know if you guys are hearing that buzz in the mic, and maybe we'll pan up. I don't know if you guys can see it in frame, but above us is a cloud. Okay. Well, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. We were going really quick through this other box, so maybe the queen was there and I just didn't see her. I was probably too busy looking for eggs and things like that. But I guess at this point, we'll just pull the queen excluder. Excuse me, sorry. We'll just pull this queen excluder, and we'll just let them be for a little bit and see what they do, in a week or so.
If you want to lift the box, I think I can grab the queen excluder.
Yeah, I'm gonna lift it and just make sure it's not okay. I was gonna make sure it's not stuck to the bottom there. How am I looking on the front? I can't see. Are there bees there?
Yes.
They might not move, so let me actually just kind of grab the sides here.
I thought you were just going to lift straight up.
Yes, but I don't want to put my hand where they can. So can I get you to?
How about
Okay.
you put the handle?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I just did. Yeah, so lift it up and then just shake those bees onto the.
There. Ladies.
Right.
And is the queen down there? Because some birds sometimes can get under there.
I'm not sure, but if we can just get the borders so I can put this box back down.
They're upset.
Yeah. Well, we just did take their house apart.
Yep.
All right. They are not really cooperating today, so we'll see if we could do this the other way. We'll just try to put it on the edge here and just try to scooch it along.
I can, do this, at least on this side, just kind of.
Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah. All right. We'll just have to play the game of odds if hopefully the queen wasn't under there when I was trying to do that. I was having to go slow and do all that. But all right, so we're seeing a lot of good stuff here. So we'll go ahead and put her back together. There we go. And maybe the queen was up here. We'll see here in a week or 9 days. It is a Friday, right before Memorial Day when we're doing this. So yeah, we'll see how they're doing here in a week or so. And we are going to change this up a little bit. We'll just put the screen top on here.
Oh yeah, we had it up. We were gonna screen the bottom.
No, we don't. We have to paint those.
Oh right.
Yeah, what Mel's talking about, I did buy a screen bottom board for the bees. We'll paint that one. This one's unpainted, but we have a telescoping cover, so it'll cover it up. So I don't have to worry about it being painted or not. So yeah, we're just gonna put that screen there, and we'll just go with that for right now. Actually, I had some cardboard for that, but I'll probably crack this thing. But anyway, so that's part one. We'll probably end up this. I don't want these to be too long, so we'll probably stop this video there. Again, this is Ethan with Beware Beekeeping. Thanks for watching. Do the like, subscribe, all that good stuff that everybody else asks you to do. If you could, it really helps us out. Yeah. So I appreciate y'all from watching, and we'll start this other one here, but I'm going to cut the video right here. Thanks all.